You guys think I'm beginning to look like Red Sonja? No? So today I will be opening a package for my mom, and I will be talking about the topic of beta buxing by guys, that is, like men beta buxing women, and not the kind of buxing I usually like to talk about, which is the other way around. Women boxing men. Let's see here. That's the package. Let's see what's inside. Oh, surprise, surprise! It's a package inside the package. How many times have I had this now? A package within a package. It's freeze dried. Okay, that's cool. How do you even get this cap off? Okay, I'm gonna have to figure this out later. It's cool anyway. Okay, I'll figure out the function of this thing a bit later. So let's put that aside and let's talk about beta buxing. So when it comes to beta buxing, now I know that a lot of guys have that as a strategy. So I want to talk a bit about what beta buxing gets you. What does it actually get you as a guy if you choose this strategy? Now I've chosen kind of beta buxing myself, but remember that I'm boxing a guy and you'll be boxing a woman. I know men and women work differently, so this is going to be very, very different. Okay, if you choose the strategy of beta boxing a woman, what you're going to get is, first of all, a lazy woman. Okay, because she's used to someone paying all the bills. It's kind of like living with your parents again, isn't it? You kind of have a new dad who, well, boxes you, who pays all the bills, and you don't really have to do anything in return. Okay, you don't have to be an adult, so this will make for a lazy woman. Okay, and then the other thing you get is that you get a demanding woman. You start giving her stuff, she will be expecting more and more and more. So you see what I'm getting at, that this is not a good strategy. Okay, the other thing you get is that on top of a lazy and demanding woman, this woman eventually grows old. So now you have an old, lazy and demanding woman who doesn't expect to do anything in return for you. The other thing about beta boxing a woman is that, well, she will only be there for the bucks. And the moment the buck stops, then she will leave. So if you suddenly have a lower income or you lose your job, then of course, well, that woman is out of there. Now maybe you have it so that she pays for half of everything. Let's say she pays for half or whatever part of the living expenses. Could happen, but her income will usually go to her needs, and your income will go to paying for everything else. So you will not really be able to benefit of her income in any way. There will be no plus for her. In best case, yes, you will pay 50-50, but there is no plus. You might as well just pay your half separately and not be with her. It's pretty much the same result. And I know a lot of couples that are older where the woman did work and the man did work, but his income was usually higher, and even if it wasn't, his income always went towards like paying for a home, paying all the living expenses, and her income would go towards buying makeup and clothing and interior design items, things that she needed and she found fun to have. So nice to haves. Okay, the other thing that you need to take into consideration is that you cannot make a woman happy by paying her. You can't make someone happy by just paying them, because, well, her happiness is not going to stay. You can make her content for a while. Like, you buy her a present, she's content for a while, and then she will no longer be content, and you have to like buy her a new present or keep spending money on her specifically. So if you beta bucks, we're not talking about that you're paying for a basic living standard, you're paying for the necessities, you're giving her a roof over her head, food on the table. What you're paying for is that you're paying her in excess. So, and you get nothing for it, okay? You get these things for it. Lazy and demanding woman. That's what you're stuck with. So I don't recommend it. So I know that in this context of cold. In this context of having a beta bucks relationship where the man is at least the main breadwinner, I know in the latest conflict in Ukraine, the women would flee with the children, would flee the country with the children, and the men would have to stay behind. They weren't allowed to leave, they were conscripted. And a lot of men, at least in the West, they found this very upsetting. It has to do with female conscription. They say that, okay, they have all these rights, but they basically don't have any obligations. They're not obliged to stay and be conscripts themselves like the men. They're just allowed to leave. They can run away and kind of keep living their lives while the man risks dying, in fact. And now, of course, no one in those countries in Eastern Europe thinks that way. There it's completely natural. But essentially what they have there is that they still have a beta bucks relationship where the man possibly makes most of the money, and he is the main breadwinner. I'd like you to think about this, because I don't think anyone has actually thought this far. Now, if there was a choice, let's say that the society is completely different and there is a choice. Now, in this conflict, you can pick whether the man or the woman flees with the children or stays. Right? So you can pick. Either man stays behind and he is conscripted, and the woman leaves the country with the children, or the woman stays behind and is conscripted, and the man gets to flee with children and be safe. So you can pick. Now, how many women would actually pick this, to stay behind and defend their country? Now, it's just a thought experiment. I know very well that women can't always be put in a combat position. They can do something else. Can't carry a lot of gear. I know that there were men that fled also. I know that women who stayed behind. But it's just a thought experiment. That's not the majority of people. Right, so give the choice, would the women stay? Okay, now my personal opinion is of course that these women should have made sure to get their family out of this coming war zone long before anything happened, and made sure that both their men and children were safe before all this started. But that's just me. Alright, think about it. So if you offer to beta bucks, if that's your strategy, you're going to attract the wrong kind of women. You're going to attract the type of women who do want to take advantage of you. So keep that in mind. Alright, so this is Kimker. I'm going to go and give my man this cool gift now. But first I'm going to figure out how this works.